Good evening, everybody, from the summit of Mount Washington. I am meteorologist Amy Cotter here to talk to you today about what to expect weather-wise here at the higher summits of New Hampshire this coming weekend. But before we do that, I want to talk a little bit about what kinds of weather we've been experiencing today, which has been pretty uneventful in terms of any exciting weather, at least. We've had a really uniquely calm and warm day up here on the mountain today. So let's take a look at what those conditions look like. Our wind speed currently on the summit is right around 18 miles per hour. Now our normal monthly average for the month of March is right around 40 miles per hour. So it's very, very calm on the summit today, with our 10-minute gust only reaching 21 miles per hour. Even in the past 24 hours, we can see that we haven't exceeded a 51 mile per hour gust. So it's been a relatively calm day up here on the summit. We can also take a look at the temperature up here on the summit of Mount Washington. That temperature is hovering right around freezing at a nice 31 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're right around that freezing mark, and it has been warming throughout the day. And as we go into this weekend's forecast, we'll talk a little bit about how we can expect that temperature to rise this weekend. When you pair those winds with that temperature, you get our wind chill, and our wind chill here on the summit today is 19 degrees. So 19 degrees is feeling pretty warm right about now compared to the winter weather we've been experiencing these past few weeks and months. But let's take a look at what the summit looks like live with our observation deck camera. We can see about 70 miles from the summit today. The thing that's limiting our visibility on a day like today is this nice haze layer. It's limiting that visibility to about 70 miles, which is still pretty far given Mount Washington is in the clouds around 60% of the time. Can't really see on this camera as this camera is facing east, but we do have some higher level clouds filtering in from the west with an incoming low pressure system that we can talk a little bit about here on this map. So this map shows us those different kinds of pressure systems that are going to be really big control on our weather here in the White Mountains. So let's take a look at what we can expect as we move into this weekend. All right, here, I'll stand on this side so I'm not blocking the map. But you can see that there's a pretty big low pressure system building up to our west. And as that low pressure approaches, you're going to see these bars right here, these isobars tightening, and that indicates a pressure gradient. And as that pressure gradient steepens, that gives us a little bit of a clue as to what kinds of winds we're going to experience this weekend. And we'll dive into our wind map in just a moment. But we can take a look at that and see that as that low pressure approaches and there is a high departing offshore, that pressure gradient is going to tighten, ramp up those winds a little bit this weekend. And as we move into Saturday night here, you can see that band of precipitation moving closer and closer to the region. And then as we move into Sunday morning there, you're going to see these grayer patches showing up across New England here. And we're going to see some patchier precipitation with that incoming system. But those green bands are really where the heaviest precipitation are, those green, blue, and orange colors. And as we move into Sunday night, you're going to see the bulk of that precipitation fall. So that bulk of the precipitation is mostly going to hold off until Sunday night, but that is certainly not to eliminate rain showers and drizzle throughout the day on Sunday, even starting as early as Saturday night. But let's take a look at temperatures here, and that'll tell us a little bit about what we can expect in terms of precipitation type. So up here on the summit, we just hit freezing, but as we move into the weekend, you can see that there's a nice warm front being lifted, those warmer colors being lifted northward across the region. So we're going to be experiencing some warming here at the higher summits this weekend, with lows even potentially into the lower 40s tomorrow. And we're going to see those mild temperatures throughout the weekend before we see a much weaker cold front start to move into the region starting at the start of the work week, so past the forecast period. But let's take a look at those wind speeds with this approaching system. So this is a map of the United States right here, lots of colors. You can see those darker colors, those reds and those browns, represent higher wind speeds. So you can see that currently we're sitting under a pocket of pretty calm wind speeds, these lighter blue and white colors right there. But you can see the approach of that system with those increasing wind speeds as we move into Saturday overnight. And by the end of Saturday night, we should be seeing at least close to 100-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And as those winds continue to ramp up, you can see that they're going to continue ramping up through Sunday and peak right around Sunday at midnight. So those winds are going to peak past the forecast period, but by the end of this weekend should be at least nearing that 100-mile-per-hour sustained mark. But let's take a look at what this means in terms of winds and wind chills. So this weekend, we're going to be starting in the mid-30s. So they're pretty warm temperatures up here on Mount Washington for the month of March. And as those winds pick up, those temperatures are also going to rise, which means those wind chill values will remain right around freezing. Despite those warmer temperatures, might feel very spring-like in the valleys and notches, but this higher terrain still will feel pretty winter-like this weekend. And then as we move into Saturday night is really when we're going to see that precipitation start. It'll likely start as just drizzle, but moving into Sunday, we'll see rain showers here and there consistently throughout the day. And then Sunday, by the end of Sunday, we should be seeing more of a chance of rain showers as we progress into that heavier precipitation and that heavier rainfall that's expected on Sunday night. And you can see those winds are increasing throughout the day on Saturday night into Sunday. And by the end of Sunday, we should expect in the 70 to 90 mile per hour range, approaching 100 with certainly gustier conditions here at the higher summits of New Hampshire. So those gusts up to 110 miles per hour. So we've got a nice system coming our way this weekend, a nice storm cloud coming our way this weekend. But this coming week, we also have some excitement happening with another storm cloud here on the summit. So we've got our resident summit cat Nimbus here. He will be turning 5 this coming Wednesday. So remember, this coming Wednesday, our resident summit cat, Nimbus, will be turning 5 years old. So make sure you wish him a nice, happy birthday as he turns 5. But happy early birthday, Nimbus. I hope you all enjoy your weekend, whether you get out to the higher summits of New Hampshire or not. Keep an eye out for that precipitation and those wind chill values. But enjoy your weekend no matter what you get up to.